All right, what is up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here with another GSD Mode podcast weekly real estate tip, where every single week I come to you delivering different tips, tactics, strategies, and information that I've learned on my own 20-year-long real estate journey that allowed me to become one of the top realtors, team leaders on the planet, with selling well over 7,000 homes, as well as coaching and consulting over 5,000 realtors, team leaders, and broker owners, and sharing this information with you so you can apply this real estate information into your real estate business and go out there and crush and dominate your overall real estate goals and get shit done inside your life and inside your real estate business. The GSD Mode podcast is all about. All right, so today I'm here to talk to you about how doing less is more, how less is more, and how if you do less and focus on less inside your real estate business, you will end up selling more homes. Or if you are a team leader or broker owner in a position where you're no longer selling homes, but your job is to go out there and recruit agents, this will also lead to you recruiting a hell of a lot more agents. Now, I first want to lead off with this. This is not some clickbait title where it's like, oh, you don't need to go out there and work hard. I'm not saying to work less hours. Look, hard work is an essential part of our journeys in creating the success that we want to go out there and create. We got to put in the work, man. So I'm not sitting here saying that you don't have to work hard. A lot of people work harder than they probably need to because they're focused on the wrong things. What I'm speaking specifically to, when I'm talking about less is more, is doing less number of things. Now, whether this is, like inside my business, I want to have less systems. I want to do lesser lead gen activities. So when we do less of these things versus more of these things from a numerical standpoint, that gives us the ability then to truly execute on these at the highest possible level. So we can learn them, we can understand them, we can truly master them and make sure that we are maximizing and optimizing what we are doing at the highest possible level, which then yields the biggest overall result. I got a saying that I heard one time, and I'm always repeating this over and over in my head. I don't know who said it, so unfortunately I can't give credit. You can go out there and Google whoever said it to give, if you're curious, you want to go give them credit. But I didn't make this quote up. But somebody else said it, quote I love, that I'm always thinking about, which is success is not found in doing 1,000 things. It's found in doing a few things brilliantly thousands of times. So as I mentioned, like I meet so many inside of our industry that have so many different systems. And I'm like, look, dude, I want the minimal amount of systems. It's kind of like Einstein's famous quote of make things as simple as possible, just not simpler. I want the minimum amount of systems that I need. Now I'm going to make sure that I have the right systems and the necessary systems, but the minimum amount that I need. So then that way I can truly learn those. I can take the time to master them. I can take the time to make sure that they're set up right. I can make sure to take the time to use them and get like milk and juice everything out of them, at the highest possible level. And what inspired this podcast here for me today, I was recently on one of the free coaching calls that I do here, offer to all of you GSD Mode podcast watchers and or listeners that are ending soon. So if you do want to take advantage and jump on a 1 hour long Zoom strategy coaching call with me personally, you got about just over a month before I cut these off. Not that I don't love doing them. I love doing them. I want to support you guys. I do really enjoy doing them. It's just been taking me, about 6 hours a day. And I just it's becoming harder and harder to continue to do these and continue to offer these, for free. So if it's something you want to take advantage of, where it's a full hour long coaching call where I can assess your business and help make sure that you know exactly what you need to do to get from where you're at to where you want to go by the end of this free coaching session. And I have no agenda on these coaching sessions other than to help you out, support you, and help you at the highest level I possibly can. There's zero pressure. There's no hard sales and, none of that crap. So if this is something that you feel could benefit you and something you want to take advantage of, go to www.gsdmode.com/Zoom call. These are going to, my cutoff date on doing these though is September 7th. That's when I'm going to do my last one. And that's when the cutoff date is, or at least, whatever. We'll see how that goes out as far as, whether I do my last one on September 7th, or that's when I stop allowing them to be scheduled. So I still got to make that decision, but regardless, if you wait till after September 7th to schedule this, it's going to be non-existent. So my recommendation is that you get on my schedule ASAP. Okay. So with that being said, I'm on this call the other day. talking with a gentleman that, just like so many in our industry that are experiencing right now, did have some great success a few years ago. And then got content, got comfortable, got complacent, stopped doing a lot of things that led to them, having some great years in this business. Then boom, got hit with the market changes that we saw in like 2022, kind of that last half of 2022 with all the interest rates and the unaffordability crisis that we're amongst right now. And then boom, business is flat and now starting to struggle. Like again, I mean, that's a very common thing at all different levels. I mean, this isn't just something that individual agents are struggling with. Team leaders, broker owners, I'm having so many conversations with people that businesses are down, and it doesn't need to be that way. The market does not dictate your overall success. You and you alone dictate your overall success. However, if we don't continue taking consistent actions, right, which can lead to the lack of success. But then from there, we got to make sure that the right consistent actions are what lead to overall success. And when you have a big market shift and change, like we have seen with the interest rate environment and other things, what you were doing may not be working today. Yeah, right. So we've got to also make sure that we have that strategy shift and change as well. Now, on this conversation, though, breaking down, going through the strategy, I'm like, okay, dude, like here outside of past client repeat referral business, that's like the one leg that I believe everybody should have dialed in inside their business, right? Because that's kind of that future gold, if you will, where if you do this right, let's just say, 5 years into your career journey, assuming that your business is continuing to grow, 20% year over year, like you want to continue to grow and scale your business and you don't want to just, stay, repeating the same year over and over and over. Well, after that 5-year mark, like, okay, 50% of your business or so, that can vary, might be a little bit greater than that, but around 50% is kind of the benchmark I look at that should be coming in from repeat referral business. If you're doing this right and you have that right repeat, again, past client sphere of influence, strategy in place. So if you're doing 100 deals a year, let's just say it's you and one assistant, which is very doable to go out there and bang out 100 deals a year with that kind of infrastructure. Well, 50 of those should be past client repeat referral business. 50 of those should be new business. And again, that can take about that 5-year mark, sometimes a little bit sooner, sometimes a little bit longer, but usually around that 5-year mark, that's kind of the benchmark that I'm looking at and seeing. So this becomes that future gold, if you will. And the reason why I say it's the future gold is it is the easiest to acquire. Like you're not having a client acquisition cost because you've already got them as a client, or you've already got them. Like you're not having to generate, like when you're chasing new business, it's the most costly and the most time consuming. These are people you're not having to pay for. These are people that you're not having to hard sell on you, right? And really follow because you're not a stranger. They already know, like, trust you, right? It's just easy, but it's much, I don't want to say it's easy. It's much easier business, to go after. That's why I call it that future gold, right? So then in addition to that, so we got your past client sphere of influence strategies, right? So, making sure that this person had those in place, just like I recommend for all of you. Then from there, we're talking about new client acquisition based on their goals, based on their situation. I was like, all right, boom, here are the 2 things. I recommend that you focus, like here's like all of your time, all of your energy on these 2 things. Get these honed in, dial in these 2 things. So for new client acquisition, so lead gen, lead follow-up, right? So inception of that lead until they become a client. Like here's the 2 things, I recommend that you be focused on to boom, turn your situation around, boom, get back to where you were and get back, and then hopefully above where you were and continue to kick ass. Then after I deliver the strategy, and I'm not faulting this person, this is a common thought process. I used to have this, most people do, until I learned otherwise. Then it was, okay, well, what else in addition to these should I be doing? Because I want to go out there and just stack as many things as I possibly can, to go out there and just increase my probability of now money making opportunities. And again, that's we always think that more is better, but look, more is not always better. Too much of a good thing can hurt you. You drink too much water, you get into, hypohydration, it can freaking kill you. Like water is a great thing. We have too little of it, it can kill us. Yeah, right. But like we need to kind of find that sweet spot, that middle spot. But too much water can also kill you, if you're ingesting too much water. So then from there, but we're conditioned to always, to think with society and as human beings today that, oh, more is better, more is better. So instead of just doing 2 things, man, if I stack on 8 things, then I'll get a better result, right? And again, that is not the case especially not in an individual agent scenario situation. And usually not in a team leader or, situation either, if you're running, operating a team. Not saying that you always have to go out there and do 2 or 3 things, as a team leader, if you have different departments and you have, but even within my team, I'm never going to have any of my agents really focus on more than 2, 3 max things for new client acquisition, right? Sometimes I might just have them focus on just one thing. So then with that, so I asked him, I said, okay, well, walk me through your thought process with that. And again, thought process was just what I told you guys. Well, if I have more things, that's going to give me a higher income earning opportunity. But think of it this way. Yeah, right. You can become a jack of all trades and a master of none, but a master of a couple things. Which one do you think you're going to be more effective at? Which one do if we look at, you guys have heard this saying, like, the riches is in the niches, right? So who makes more money? A general practitioner, like your family doctor, that maybe has a wide variety of knowledge, so they can, see the red flags. But then what do they do after that? They send you to a specialist that has one singular focus, or maybe 2 singular focuses, right? Well, like, heart surgeons make more than a general practitioner, right? Make more money. So when we're thinking about this, like I said earlier, though, I'm not saying to work less hours. That's not what I was, telling this person. And I made sure that they understood that and had this, conversation with them. But I'm like, look, I'd rather you identify the best strategies, like we just did for you, based on your skill set, based on your market, based on your situation, based on, a lot of different factors that, walk through on these free coaching calls to put this kind of, blueprint together for you. Instead of calling these a free coaching call, I should call it, a free blueprint session. It's a coaching session, but the whole point of these is to get that blueprint. So you leave the coaching call with knowing what the exact blueprint is that you must go out there and master and execute on to make your goals a reality. But I'm like, okay, I'd rather you do these things that we know work right now in this market, so you can do more of them. You can do them at a higher level. You can truly master them. You can truly maximize your conversions with them. And that is always going to lead to a greater output with these things. It's a dangerous place, man. I see so many people, talk to so many, individual agents, for example. And I'm like, okay, walk me through what you're doing. Well, I'm focusing on, Instagram and Facebook, doing a lot of social media posts, reels, then I'm, growing my TikTok following, then I'm doing YouTube, then I'm doing open houses, then, I don't know, then I'm going after expired. Like, it's like, again, they're doing like 8 different things, but then I start chunking down how they're doing those things. And they become a jack of all trade. They're giving diluted half-ass energy and effort to all of those things. So then they're getting diluted half-ass results out of all of those things. And it turns into a massive struggle. So an example of this, like with this one person, not saying that you got to do open houses. Open houses aren't for everybody. And I'm not saying that you need to do them, but they had previous success with them. Their market was a good market for them. They enjoyed them, and it made sense for them. It doesn't always make sense for everybody. It's one thing that we got to understand. This real estate business is very nuanced. You're going to have a lot of people out there saying, oh, this is the best. It's kind of like in the health and fitness dieting space. Oh, dude, like keto is the best. Paleo is the best. Intermittent fasting is the best. Vegetarian is the best. This is this is the best. They can all be good. They're just different systems, different tools to help people go out there and really accomplish the same goal. Right? You got to identify what the best is for you. So same thing in the real estate business, right? Like, what is just because like somebody else having success with it think is the best, it may not be the best for you based on your situation, your skill sets, your needs, all of this stuff. So anyway, though, for this one person, one of the things that we talked about, one of the 2 strategies was open houses. So then, okay, I'm like, all right, so in my own market, because I'll get people when I tell them the results that I get with open houses, they'll sit there and say, oh, well, traffic isn't like that in my market. It's a market thing, Josh. I'm like, okay, that's there could be some truth to that. So I'm not sitting there saying that you're going to guarantee to get as much traffic in my market. However, in my own market, I get so many agents coming to me complaining about open houses not working, how they got 3 couples, 5 couples, through this open house, and, it's slow and traffic is slow. Okay, same market, same city, all circumstances being the same. Okay, I'll go get 25 plus people through an open house where they maybe only got 3. How is that? Right? It's because I've singular focused, like I know because I'm able to do this at a high level. When I'm focused on one activity or lesser activities, I can allocate all this energy and time to really milking that thing, squeeze out as much juice as I possibly can from that thing. So like first thing that I'll say to them, I'm like, okay, walk me through your open house process. Well, when I have a house available, I'm like, okay, so, like then I go do it. Right. So, okay, that's, mistake number. And I'm not trying to make this about open house. I'm just using this as an example of, when you master them. So I'm very, very picky about what type of properties, what area. I know who my ideal client is, so who my ideal client is. So then with that, I know what type of property they want. I know the zip codes, the neighborhoods, the price points, what condition that house needs to be in, the features that it needs to have. So I'm very picky on property selection. Then from there, I track. When it comes to traffic, I track. So one of the things I track with my open houses is, okay, when I do getting ready to do the open house, okay, what was the address? What was the neighborhood? Then the specs of the property. What was the size? What was the price point? What were the features? How many signs did I put out? What date? What day of the week? What time? How many signs I put out? I already said that. How many leads did I get? And then I'm tracking obviously what I'm also doing for pre-marketing activities. So then I start to identify and see, because success leaves clues, right? So like what days, what times, what neighborhoods, what type of properties, what's the ideal sign count, for that area. I'm able to start seeing all of these specific things that allow me to go out there and in the same damn market, and sometimes down the same street, or same neighborhood even, an agent bitch moaning whining that they only get 3 people through their open house when I get 25. Yeah, right. So then from there, it's like, okay, yeah, what are you doing for property selection? What are you doing to go out there and pre-market this thing? Okay, what are you doing to optimize setup? Because 90% of people that come through the open house say that they came through because they saw the signs. What are you doing, to make sure to maximize sign-ins so you get 85% of people to sign in? Okay, what are you doing what is your tour process to go out there and master that tour process? Because we know that the initial conversation with any lead or prospect is to identify goal, identify timeline, set appointment if able appropriate, if unable appropriate, because goal and timeline, then you know how to follow up to maximize those conversions. So walk me through your exact tour questions that build the rapport and allow you to getting those to get the answers to those things that you need to answer. So at the end of that tour, then boom, you're primed to go out there and set that appointment. Then walk me through your exact follow-up protocol to go out that you go out there and do. Right. And then it's well, I don't know. Okay, well, you got to dial these things in. Well, I'm too busy. Well, why are you too busy? Because I focus on these 8 other fucking things. And I don't have time for this thing. Yeah, right. Okay. If you're giving half-ass diluted effort to anything, you cannot expect anything but a half-ass diluted result from that thing. Output is always equal to input, right? It's no different if I'm putting shit food all day long into my body, and how we as human beings gain energy is through food. We're not plants. We don't get it through photosynthesis. Well, no wonder I'm going to have freaking shit energy. Yeah. Right. So input equals out, like your input determines your output. So what you put into something is what you get out of it. Now, when you have lesser things, you're able to put more into those things, and not just more actions and activities. You're able to put in a level of learning them, understanding them, truly mastering those. So then you can go out there and get 4, 5, 10 times the result of what maybe others doing those things, because you're not just doing them. You know exactly how to do them right to go out there and maximize results. So this is what I mean by less is more. So I spend some time breaking down your business and really making sure that you've got the right strategies that you are focusing on, the right number of strategies, and then the right mastery plan, so you can freaking juice those things, and milk them for everything that they're worth to go out there and maximize those activities. Because one thing that I've learned, a mistake that I made early on, when I first got into business, I didn't really know much different. I was 23 years old. First, real estate was my first entrepreneur experience, right? I just thought, man, like it's all about hard work, and again, I'm not sitting here saying you don't have to work hard, but I work a hell of a lot less, and I make way more money than I did when I, first started, until I grasped these things. And again, I'm not sitting here saying that, 4-hour work week, just go work at, 4 hours a week, even though I know that wasn't the purpose of the book. I actually think that's a fantastic book. So, but anyway, but what I am saying is a lot of people create a lot of unnecessary resistance for them that is unnecessary because they just don't know how to work effectively at these things. And one of the quickest ways, if not the quickest way, I shouldn't say one of them, the absolute quickest way to 2x, 3x, or 4x your business is not to 2x, 3x, or 4x your hours. It's to just get 2x, 3x, or 4x better at what you are currently already doing. And this is what allows you, or one of the main things at a very high level. Then there's a lot of, things in between there that we got to do. Like I said, you got to not just know, you got to be able to identify, okay, what is the right strategy that's going to optimize results for the economy, for the market, based on my strengths that I'm in right now. But then from there, we got to, like, if you're, one of the differences that separates a pro versus an amateur is your tracking. So then I got to track this stuff. Right. So I got to sit there and know what's working, what's not working, areas of improvement, how it's improving. And then I've got to have that mastery plan so I can truly master the strategy, the skill set, and the process. But if you do these, this is where your business blows up. So many people in our industry get so distracted. They're looking for that magic fucking pill, but look at the top in this industry. And I'm not just saying to look at me, but look at all the other top in the industry. I get so many, here's what amateurs will say. When you hear the top of the top in the industry speak, they will sit there and say, oh, I already know this. I'm like, no, you don't. Right? Like, you think you know this because they might be doing some of the activities that you're doing, or doing a lot of the kind of normal traditional activities that are done in this business. But what's taken them to the top is they do them differently. Right? They've allocated, all the things that we've talked about here. They've truly taken the time to master those things, and they're getting a far better result than everybody else in the industry, with those things. So many people are just looking at, okay, what are you doing? Better question is, and like, okay, look at what they're doing. But the best question then from there, okay, how specifically are you doing it to go out there and get those amazing results that you're getting? So anyway, I hope that you found this helpful. I recommend that you audit and look at your business. And again, if you want to jump on one of these 100% free Zoom coaching strategy blueprint coaching calls with me, where I will make sure that you know the exact blueprint, the exact strategy that, in my opinion, is best for you based on your personal situation. So I'm going to ask a lot of questions, learn about your personal situation, your market, all of those things. But I will make sure that you know exactly what you need to focus on, what you need to go out there and master, what you need to focus on before the end of that coaching session. So we're going to eliminate all of that guesswork. And again, these are going to have that hard stop September 7th. So after that time, if you want to do these, you're going to have to pay me $1,000 an hour, which is what my consulting fee is for a one-on-one coaching time. So if you want to schedule that, www.gsdmode.com/Zoom call, www.gsdmode.com/Zoom call. All right, guys, keep crushing it. Truly appreciate you. Love you all. And we'll talk to you next time. Peace.